Good afternoon, everyone. All right. I am so personally touched to receive the Charles Goldmark Award. It's the most meaningful recognition I've received in my life. It's the Academy Award of the justice community. And I have a few remarks that are like that. First, I would say what a joy it is to be introduced by my hero, Mark Hutchison, and in association with my friend, Paula Boggs. You are stretched and grown by people who believe you are capable beyond of what you think you are. Mark Hutchison is a relentless advocate in pursuit of equal justice. In that quest, he has pushed me to give more, to contribute more, and yes, I do mean money, to speak out more, to give more. Paula Boggs was my manager for 10 years, as well as my friend. And in that role, she challenged me to give more, learn more, be stronger than I thought I could be. She is worthy of this recognition. Thank you, Mark, and congratulations, Paula. Second, I am so moved by that my name, like Paula said, will be associated with this giant of legal service and commitment, Charles Goldmark, and to be associated with all the heroes and people who've been recognized by this honor over the years. I've been to this lunch many times. In fact, one time having to give a speech and a pitch for contributions, but I'm not sure I ever realized the number of people and what they did to receive this award. It's been given 30 times before this one, of course, starting with Charles Goldmark. And Chuck Goldmark was an advocate and an influencer for justice his entire life. It was over 30 years ago when he, with friends and colleagues, many of whom were honored by this award and some of whom are here today, argued before the Washington Supreme Court for the creation of the IOLTA program. And that started the Legal Foundation of Washington. I'm a bit of a geek, and I went through the award recipients and spent many hours reading about their accomplishments so I would know who each one of them are. They're all tireless, lifelong commitment to civil justice and civil legal aid. There are tough legal services providers, Steve Fredrickson, Pat McIntyre, Pat Arthur, Peter Greenfield. Extraordinary civil rights advocates and lawyers, Ken McDonald, William and Rita Bender, David Berman. Outstanding judges, such as William Dwyer, Ann Ellington, Paul Bastine, and Jerry Alexander, who opened the doors to equal justice for those appearing in the People's Building. The brothers McKay, Ada Shen Jaffe, architect of social justice initiatives that live forever. Carl Maxey, who people have said, as a civil rights champion, single-handedly desegregated much of the Northwest. Guadalupe Gamboa, leader of the Washington Farmer Workers Movement. Bar associations, foundations, legal services providers across the state of Washington, and our Washington Supreme Court, all honorees of this award. The way I felt reading about those heroes is similar to the way I feel being in this room today, and similar to the way I'm feeling now about the justice system and the work of lawyers in today's world. There's only one silver lining to these dark days I'm seeing right now. Well, there's a few, but one of them is the ascendance and respect given to lawyers in the legal system and our brave jurists in the world today. Think about those lawyers sitting on the floors of airports representing persons who are being denied entry into our country. Think about the ACLU, not just the ACLU of Washington, which I happen to think is the best chapter in the country, but the ACLU, who is getting the recognition and the money it deserves for being the champion of civil rights and just civil liberties. Our own Bob Ferguson and Noah Purcell fiercely taking on the president and defending the Constitution. District court judges and Ninth Court justices seeing the words, "See you in court," not as a threat, but as an invitation to do their duty. We sit among giants in the legal community in the state of Washington, and I'm so proud to be part of it. I love being a lawyer, but nothing like that until sitting in this room and thinking about those champions. And finally, I'm happy to be receiving this award because it recognizes the significance of what we can all do in pro bono service. Pro bono work is the finest expression of lawyers doing what we can, walking with people who need us, who without our support would not be represented, would not have access to justice. When we began the pro bono committee at Starbucks 18 years ago, we were sitting far away from the courthouses, and most of us weren't litigators. And although we worked for a coffee company that believed and expected us to give back to our community, we wanted to use our specific skills, experience, and life knowledge to actually access justice for folks. We just didn't know how to do it. We signed on with the King County Housing Justice Project. Armed only with a day's worth of CLE training and confidence inspired by Murph Eamon and Steve Fredrickson, we signed up to every other week have it Starbucks Day at Housing Justice Project. And for many years, nearly everyone in our department participated in that project. And what was a success to me, it wasn't just the lawyers, it was the staff, it was the paralegals, it was the support personnel. We all showed up, and we did it together. We were tenants lawyers, and we stopped people from being evicted from their homes, or we got them options if they were. It opened our hearts, it opened our minds. We became a little braver, a little smarter, and a little more connected to real people. And with the support of partners such as Baker & McKenzie and Columbia Legal Services for the Homeless Youth Project, and so many other partners with whom we could not do this without, our law firms like Perkins Coie and Davis Wright, the ACLU of Washington, Seattle University Access to Justice Clinic, the Innocence Project Northwest, we signed on to do more work. And we've done things like expunging criminal records and writing wills for heroes and contributing to voting rights litigation. Not bad for a bunch of coffee lawyers. Thank you, Legal Foundation of Washington, for recognizing our work and for the work of those tireless advocates for access to justice that live in our community. I am honored, and I thank you so much.